think it was April of this past year that I asked my team, what do you think about doing another Grey Trials? And they said, of course, we have more episodes to do. The story's not done. I said, no, I mean this year, like before we start filming our next feature in May. And I asked Phil, talk me off a ledge. And he said, of course I'm not going to do that. And so we got to work pre-producing, writing, and planning for yet another short film, Grey Trials Chapter 5. Why did we do that? Why did we not wait? Well, we had a wonderful student, Ruby Freeman, who had worked so diligently on previous episodes, mostly in the art department, but also writing, and she was about to graduate, and she had yet to direct her own episode. And I said, this is really our last chance. We have to shoot this. And so on the third weekend of May, literally 1 week away from starting Flamingo Heist, we set out to produce Star Wars Grey Trials Chapter 5, directed by myself and Ruby Freeman.
So I did help write this episode. Me, the very talented Ruby Freeman, and Mr. Parenti sat down and we kind of sectioned out parts of the script. I kind of helped write the intro part. I very much enjoy kind of Sith lore and that kind of part of the story of confronting Carthage again. So it was really great. Again, Parenti and Ruby are very talented, and I think this really helped push forward the story of Jawa and on her quest and kind of battling these internal thoughts.
Jawa Salvo is seeking out the Jedi Grens to be trained by him, and we as Star Wars fans know that the Jedi are the good guys. But Grens is kind of a selfish, inconsiderate jerk. And so Jawa is tempted for a moment to go back and maybe consider returning to the way of the Sith, where she disagrees with their doctrine, but at least was with kind-hearted people like Cade Barrows. That's the question we're raising. Should we pursue the right sort of institutions, even if it's got the wrong sort of people in it? Or should we stick with the wrong sort of institution that's got some nice people in it? It's a challenging question to be sure, but I've seen that in our interactions on set, we're doing our best to embody that theme right here and right now. Many people who come to our Grey Trials shoot would not call themselves religious, would not call themselves people of faith, and yet it is a place for those questions to sort of be asked, where these people are exploring the potential truth of our religion in a hopefully safe environment. I hope that we're not a bunch of Grenses, that we're not inconsiderate and mean to them, even though they've got a different worldview. But I know that even when we fail to be, that Christ's grace is enough.
Again, I wrote the first part of the episode, and it's a little bit darker and eerie, which was fun in a way to think about when we lit that scene, when Jawa is dueling with Xionoth, and then she goes and she meets Ekage. It was really fun to kind of tie in how I wrote how she should feel then, where, it was darker, a little scary, we didn't really see a lot. The fun reveal of the Mandalorian was super cool. It was like, again, writing it and then shooting it. It's like, this is perfect. This is what I was thinking of. And again, that's all part to, the great art team, having great costume design and, and just, again, the students helping me light the scene how I thought it should feel. So, yeah, it was really cool to be able to kind of like tie the two, because a lot of times you write things and then that's it. You don't actually get to put it together, so it was fun.
I contributed by kind of organizing all of the art and props. There was a lot going into this particular episode with different kind of aliens and different props. And I don't know, I'm not really much of an organizer, but I found it so much fun to do. And I don't know, I knew where everything was. I really enjoyed getting back into sewing because I hadn't in a really long time. And Mr. Parenti kind of like shoved me back into an old passion and was like, have fun. And I guess I really enjoyed that. And I was so happy when Mr. Parenti called me a costume designer. He told that to my face and I kept my cool. I was like, oh my gosh, no way. Thank you. And then I ran into the other room and I was like, Mr. Parenti just called me a costume designer. And I totally geeked out. I was like, I'm a costume designer. Anyway, that was the highlight of this whole project.
We were on location again. We found yet another spot down here in South Florida that kind of looks Star Wars-y, the Juneau Dunes. But this time we came a little more prepared than in previous years. We had a nice tent, we had some water bottles, we had bug spray and sunscreen. And so it was the best possible shooting conditions for being among the worst possible shooting locations. And so we prioritized filming all of the Mandalorian shots since my friend James was in that costume, and we were afraid he would overheat and like pass out if we didn't film him quickly and get him out of the costume. And so we got all that stuff done, and then as the sun was setting, we got some moments between Jawa and Grenz. But it was a delight being out in the field. I really enjoyed it.
I always enjoy shooting Gray Trials. It's a super fun project. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. There's always those things that come into play that you don't enjoy. So, for example, we went and shot on location in Juneau Dunes, and I mean, I'm a Florida boy. I can put up with the heat, but it got pretty brutal up there. It's always like schlepping gear into the woods, trying to figure out, okay, do we have everything? There's sand everywhere. Is sand gonna get everywhere? Sand is terrible. It's all coarse and stuff, and it doesn't feel very good.
So I had no idea what I was doing with this. Mr. Parenti gave me the Jawa material and was like, "Here you go, have fun." And I was like, "Huh?" I didn't even know what a Jawa was. I've never seen a Star Wars film. This was my second Gray Trials film, and I didn't know what it was. It was a really, really cool costume to see, like, actually done.
This is a really special project for a number of reasons. I mean, it was amazing to see Ruby Freeman direct, just as she was about to graduate, to give her that celebration, that cherry on top of her story here at the King's Academy. Awesome to see a student like G. Apicella, who had risen through our ranks and worked for us for many years, take on ownership of the art department and create such a cool costume with the Jawa. To have my buddy, my best friend from New York, James, come on down and act with us and make a Star Wars movie. To be out on location and to wrap up the year so well. We even had seniors join us from years past. Ryan Kavanaugh came on board, who had worked on the first episode and has since graduated. He came and worked with us for the weekend, and that was such a splendid time together. So as the series wraps up, I really can't think of a better way to be spending our time with amazing friends, the amazing Gray Trials family that we've accumulated over these years.
I'm not gonna go into the film industry, but the thing about doing projects like Gray Trials Episode 5 is like it forces you to do hard work, it forces you to put in the long hours, and it forces you to be a team player. And I've tried every other program on campus. There's nothing that I've seen that's similar to this program and film and being on a team like this. It just forces you to work hard, and that'll prepare me for any industry or career that I go into in the future.
Luke journeyed across the jungle and waste with haste, disgraced by the Tuscan raider he faced, till a unique shriek announced the cavalry, a legend throughout the galaxy. Gallantly, Obi scared off the creature. He met R2, said, "Pleased to meet you." Old Coop told Luke, "Why don't you come on by? It's time you train to be a Jedi." Now at the spaceport of Maz Eisley, a fantasy for scum and villainy, a Wookiee stood liaison to Han and arranged a flight to Alderaan. Ooh.